Hi, Sonali. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, how are you?
I am great. How many interviews have you done so far today?
Oh God, Nidhi, don't ask me that question. But I think what happens is that even if I do a lot of interviews, everybody is so different. So there have been different questions coming, and even after doing all these interviews, there have been a couple of questions that have been like, "Ooh, where did this one come from? Interesting." So
Didn't
yeah,
think of that. Yeah, that's good. As long as you're having fun with the whole process.
I am. Yes.
That's amazing. I have to start with something. I told my husband, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be interviewing Sonali Bendre, and he grew up in England, so I didn't think that he would know, and he just turned to me in slow motion. He's like, she was my childhood crush. So he is very excited about this right now.
Please say hi to your husband. What's his name?
His name is Vikram.
Vikram. Hi, Vikram. Thank you so much.
I
I
will
don't
tell
want to
him.
hear childhood crush. I don't mind remaining the crush.
I think you still are. Don't worry about that. I will pass your message to him. So I'm actually very thrilled because I'm very excited about the evolution of media and mediums that is bringing my 90s heroes and heroines back in action. So I spoke to Bobby Deol a few months ago, and that was also one of those checklist moments for me because I'm like, I have grown up with you, and this is
Correct.
very exciting for me. It brings back childhood memories. I know you don't want to hear that, but it
No,
is
no,
what
of
it is.
course I want to hear it. I love it. It was the best time, 90s, and it's literally like a new lease of life in that sense. And
Right?
it's fab to be able to do
It
that.
is. I've been going back to Sarfarosh and Duplicate and Zakham and Love Ke Liye Kuch Bhi Kare. I've literally been listening to all of the songs all day to get
Did
in
you
the
say
zone.
Love Ke
And
Liye Kuch Bhi Karega?
yes,
What did you think of that film?
I love it. It's
It's
my
one of my
go-to.
favorites. Because
I
Steph
absolutely
and
love
me
it.
are just, we are improvising through most of that movie. I
Yeah.
think you can
And
make
nobody
out that we are
knows that.
improvising through most of that movie. We had such a blast.
And especially when you're kidnapped and you're like, nahi, mujhe khana chahiye. And I was like, wow, that would be
Yeah.
me if I were ever kidnapped. But coming back to present day now, it's been a while, I think, since we've seen you in your non-reality show Avatar, and now you're back in action and acting. How do
Yes.
you feel about the new phase and new OTT debut? How's it going?
It's just exciting time for content all together. Also, there's just so many new voices. There's so many new things that you can talk about, and as an actor, you get to play different characters because there's just there's this whole bouquet out there, and there are different kind of things that you can choose from.
Let's talk about the broken news. For the uninitiated, what is it about?
The broken news is about the drama that happens in the newsroom behind the camera. I play the character of Amina Qureshi, who's the editor-in-chief of a news channel called Awaz Bharti. She's very interesting. She runs a democratic newsroom, but she really doesn't like, she runs a tight ship, but, she's not, the slacking is not allowed.
Nice. Have you seen the original British series? I think it's called
Yes,
Press.
yes, I have. So
Okay.
it's an adaptation of Press, the BBC One series, and BBC India has produced it. Very, very interesting because I think it's so relevant for today's time. Press was about the newspaper wars, and this is about TV channels and how it is going. It's been adapted in a very interesting way, and I think it is so relevant to today and to what is happening today.
I like the take on the title, which is the broken news, which I'm guessing is a take on breaking news, and to probably
Absolutely.
highlight the state of journalism these days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The question I wanted to ask you is recently there was another film that was sort of questioning the ethics around journalism, etc., which was Dhamaka, starring Karthik Aryan. And that also raised the same questions, about how the state of journalism is not just in India, but worldwide. How will the broken news be different from that and possibly what we see on real news channels these days?
So I haven't really seen what the Kartik Aryan's show, but what I can tell you about Broken News is that it's based in the newsroom, but it's a human story. And because journalists, people working behind the camera in the newsroom are human beings, and they're going through uh, what all human beings go through, the choices they make, the compulsions that they have, their personal lives, how the times are changing. Do you evolve with the times? Do you not evolve with the times? Do you get left behind? After doing certain amount of work, you being questioned by the other team members, not being questioned. It's a mirror to the society. So it is showing the society where we are heading. This is what goes on behind. These are the various things. So when you see the finished product, when you consume the finished product, understand what has gone on behind. And maybe you should question the finished product also. And maybe do your own due diligence before you believe it. I've said this before and I'm saying that again, but it's the difference between knowledge and information. And knowledge is something that you will, it's you go for and you want knowledge. But there was a phase when you thought that when the news was told, it was knowledge. But I think it's information that's been given to you, and you need to understand the difference between information and knowledge. That's a tool, and it's information is how you use it. Also, it is about the demand and supply. So because it's a business, it can be media is, like we say, I would say equated to something like education, medical fraternity, media. These are businesses, but they're service-oriented businesses. What you do is, what is your level of profits at what cost is very, very important. It's not like just any other business. What people in these businesses, the human beings in these businesses do, the choices they make are very, very important. And it needs to be considered and looked at. And what are you as viewers demanding? And hence, what is the supply that you're getting? It is a business. It is going to cater to demand and supply. So we as viewers also have some responsibility to see what is it that we are watching. Sansani, yes, such. As clear as that. That's what we've asked all the time, that, what are you doing, watching, and what do you want?
Because if we are consuming nonsense television, they're going to get big TRPs, and that is what they're going to keep on supplying to us. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we have question for one more. We have time for one more question. And since you're playing a journalist, I want to give you this opportunity to ask me any questions as a journalist. Go for it.
Wow. How do you think of questions to ask? Do you prep before every interview?
I do. And I did today. I took the longest to prep because there was so much that I wanted to speak to you about. And I have 2 pages worth of questions, but I guess we're running out of time for that. So maybe we'll have to do that.
Do I have time for one more question? So how is it getting easier, because there's so much of information about various people around? Is it easier to prep now than it probably would have been earlier? And,
That's a very good question. So it's a yes and a no answer. Because yes, it is easier to do research, but it has become harder to dig deeper and be authentic with questions, because you can be asking. Thank you.
You said it. That's the information that's being fed. There's so much of information that it's as good as not having the information, because it's
exactly, because it's all redundant, it's all repetitive. So how do you actually pick and choose what is important, what is correct, and what is authentic? That was lovely.
I love your answer.
Thank you. I loved your answers as well. Thank you so much. I had a lovely time, and hopefully we can do this again so I can go through the 2 pages of questions with you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, I'm Sonali, and if you have enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to Pop One Pixel.